Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're asking a simple but loaded question. Is Planetside 2 still worth playing in 2025? If you're looking for a hardcore, large-scale MMOFPS with thousands of players duking it out on massive continents, but you also want a concise, conversational breakdown, stick around. In the next 15 minutes, we'll cover Planetside 2's history, how its community and culture have evolved or devolved, what its gunfights feel like now, and ultimately, whether you should dive in today. Let's get into it. Before we judge its current state, a quick primer for anyone brand new. Planetside 2 launched in November 2012. It's a free-to-play MMO first-person shooter developed by Sony Online Entertainment, later Daybreak Games. The core hook was, and still is, 3 factions: NC, TR, VS, and all battling over 3 massive continents, with fights that can involve hundreds or even thousands of players simultaneously. You can capture territory by taking out bases, coordinating air support, and yes, watching the front lines shift in real time. Even at launch, nobody really had seen an FPS this big. Conquest in Battlefield? Tiny compared to this. Siege in Overwatch? Laughable. Planetside 2 conceived entire open-world war zones, where your squad could be defending one facility, while an air wing attacks from above and a tank column charges from another flank. That scale still feels unparalleled in 2025. Let's rewind to 2012 to 2014, when Planetside 2 was in its heyday. The beta buzz. Thousands of players screaming in chat, "We're capturing Endar!" Early screenshots showed hundreds of infantry literally swarming bases, something almost surreal for PC at the time. The game went live November 20th, 2012. On day 1, certain servers were so packed you'd log in and see clusterfuck alerts with 72 plus players fighting inside a single doorway. By mid-2013, active player counts on prime time ranged from 3,000 to 4,000 online at once across all servers on each faction. There were even community-run tournaments where outfits, aka clans, like Narcotic, Justice, Valor, and Soul X fought for bragging rights. Daybreak pumped out updates, releasing Hoisin, the Third Continent. That was released in 2013. Infantry update, where they buffed infantry parkour and movement. The Economy update, happening in 2014, introduced resource revamp. And Nano Armor Mesh, a new suit slot, added. The presidential election came and went with the community-constructed cosmetic items program. You had outfits refueling each other's sunders at 2 a.m. You saw 96 plus squad warfare where every role was there. But what was the community like back then? And what's it like today into 2025? Outfits as family. Big outfits meant big personalities. You logged in and your squad leader's voice crackled through TeamSpeak telling you, "Medic up, we're losing that tower." The camaraderie was real. You joined because you heard outfit recruitment calls in Indar's Warp Gate. Role specialization. At that point, nearly every player had a side hustle. Some were max droppers, some were air platoon commanders, others specialized in floor spawning banter. The learning curve was steep. We'll talk about that later. So if you weren't hanging with the experienced squad, you felt like a noob wandering into Chernarus with no gear. Fan-run events. Every few months, outfits would organize, quote-unquote, bring your trash talking to the table tournaments, just massive custom battles to show off loadouts, tactics, and pride. It was more underground, more passionate. Population decline, but dedication core. As of early 2025, you'll see fewer concurrent players than at peak. Think 1,000 to 1,500 online per faction, depending on time zone and continent lock times. But if you filter by the right servers, Emerald or Connery, for example, you'll still see 300 to 400 on each faction during prime time. Smaller outfits, more solo friendly. Many outfits disbanded or shrank. The mega outfits like Soul X, which peaked at hundreds of active members, are now maybe 30 to 50 active members. However, streamlined LFG, aka looking for group, tools and a more forgiving new player experience, NPE, allows casuals to hop into public squads without long recruitment queues. Content creators and streamers. A handful of dedicated Planetside 2 streamers still push out weekly content, showcasing patch breakdowns, esports style match of the week, or comedic highlights. YouTube still has Best of Planetside 2 2025 montages hitting about 1,000 plus views, so you know a latent fan base still cares. Seasonal events in retro mode. Daybreak occasionally runs retro/classic weekends where they revert the game to a 2013 style weapon loadout, no nano weave, no ability buffs, just old school 90-day TTK. These become huge nostalgia draws, with even free-to-play streamers highlighting them. Community discords and fan-made tools. Discord servers for PS2 tips and tricks have 10,000 plus members, dropping meta videos on how to best use the new MK2 weapons or optimized air hammer flanking. Fan-made apps for population tracking, meta analytics, or outfit recruiting are still alive and well. So to sum that up, back in the day, it felt like everyone and their grandma was fighting for Indar. Today the numbers are smaller, but those who stuck around are hardcore, knowledgeable, and damn passionate. The family vibe still exists, just more niche. Next up, Gunfights. Planetside 2's unique claim is that even in 2025, a single massive war can involve 1,500 versus 1,500 players. But how do individual firefights feel nowadays? Are they tight, clunky? Let's break down the major changes. The good old days. Fast TTK and high skill floors meant early weapons had sharp recoil patterns. Burst rifles like the carbine for TR or Gauss rifle for VS required precise recoil control. If you were an advanced infantry player, you could kill someone in, let's say, 0.3 to 0.4 seconds by landing 4 headshots from 100 meters. Tactics over spray. You couldn't spam spray and pray. If you tried emptying a whole magazine into someone, most likely they're already dead. Map-wide situational awareness was huge, tracking where the lattice was shifting, predicting enemy Zerg pushes, and calling for backup. ESF, or air mechanics. ESF dogfights were tight and punishing. You had to manage tilt, yaw, hover, and hover mode toggles. Pad pilots had a steep climb to even get off the runway. Dogfighters had names like Gooker, Cat Daddy, and their KDs were untouchable. The slow slide, 2016 to 2022. Daybreak gradually increased TTK for many infantry weapons, added aim assist on lock-on launchers, and introduced nano weave armor, plus composite armor to cushion bullets. The intention was to make gunfights less punishing for newbies, but it also lowered the skill ceiling. Hoisin and Indar updates. With the Hoisin revamp in 2018 and minor Indar touch-ups, hit detection improved slightly, but server tick issues on large fights occasionally caused damage popping. Basically, you'd shoot someone, ragdoll hit marker, but then watch them scream and turn around to kill you. ESF and vehicle nerfs/buffs. ESFs lost afterburner speed, but large buffs to air-to-air missiles made dogfights easier. Galaxy and Lib roles blurred. The Liberator got a lock-on missile pod that blurred anti-air and anti-ground lines. Today's gunfights in 2025. TTK and balance. Most infantry weapons now kill in about 0.45 to 0.6 seconds with perfect headshots. More forgiving than the 0.3 seconds of 2013, but still challenging if you miss one bullet. Aim assist and player base. Aim assist on console is a bit stronger, but PC players still dominate big server fights. Frame rates improved drastically thanks to engine optimizations. 360 FPS on high-end rigs is a real thing now, so you can track bugs in the frame transitions. Player distribution. You'll find that the NC assault rifles still have the sweet spot mid-range spray. TR LMGs retain strong high damage spools. And VS now sport the Gauss War Sprinter, an 800 RPM PDW with near zero recoil. Because the fan favorite HC1 Harriser, the version 0.8 chassis, got a trophy system nerf. You see way fewer of those 2v2 duels on Hosen. It's more about sky guards and AA rocklets roaming the base roofs. Air combat. ESF dogfights are now very arcadish. GPS-locked missiles, certed pilot airframes, and drone assist flares mean that only the top 5% of pilots steal duel without any autopilot crutches. Libs have sticky flares to avoid dumbfires. Valkyries can now drop 12 jump jets to escape. So in short, gunfights aren't as punishingly fast as back in 2012 to 2014. They're more accessible, yes, but if you're looking for that one-clip headshot out of nowhere feel, it's gotten a bit rare. Still, if you master recoil patterns on a few core weapons, you'll shred. Okay, you've seen the history, community, and gunfights. What about the overall health of Planetside 2 right now? Let's look at population, servers, updates, and how easy or hard it is to dive in. Server population and performance. Population numbers. On a good evening in 2025, Emerald NA East might peak at 1,200 total players across 3 factions, 400 per faction let's say. Connery NA West hovers around 900 total. Soltech EU sees peak weekends at 1,500 total. That's well below the 4,000 plus peaks back in 2014, but it's enough to keep continents, lattice links busy. Server merges and revamps. Over the years, Daybreak merged some low-pop servers. They retired Miller, Briggs, and a few smaller ones. Now we mainly have Emerald, Connery, and Soltech as core servers. Merged servers did lead to occasional queue times on European prime time. You might wait 5 minutes at 7 PM for a smash alert, but overall, performance is smoother now thanks to 2019 network optimizations. Queue and matchmaking improvements. They introduced a simple LFG algorithms feature where if your faction is underpopulated on a continent, you get faction incentive XP to entice players. It works. Pop imbalances hover around 10% higher rather than the lopsided 30 to 40% that used to plague Hosen in 2015. Updates and content roadmap. 2023 to 2024 updates. The Combat Mandibles expansion. Mid-2023. Reworked infantry animations and tweaked footsteps audio so you can hear a cloaker at 20 meters instead of 10. The Heavy Material Revision. Spring 2024, overhauled vehicle cert tracks. MBTs/main battle tanks got a new composite armor cert that reduces explosive damage by 15%. Paid skins and cosmetics. Daybreak Depot still sells faction banners, vehicle decals, and helmet cosmetics. But don't worry, zero gameplay advantages, it's all vanity. You can still earn a ton of cosmetic camos just by grinding directives if you don't want to spend cash. Roadmap for 2025. Daybreak teased the planetary facilities overhaul, slated for Q3 in 2025. It included entire base interiors will be revamped, indoor corridors, destructible walls, dynamic lighting. That's a big deal because right now, base fights can feel wall-banging and a little stale. It's the first time they're touching building interiors in over 8 years. By now, you get a sense of Planetside 2's legacy and current state. Let's break down the pros and cons quickly so you can decide if you should click install or hit next. Pros: unmatched scale. You won't find another live game where hundreds of players simultaneously assault a single base on foot, in tanks, and from the air. That sensation of scale, seeing flashes and tracers from 500 meters away, is still breathtaking. Free-to-play model. No pay to win, everything you buy is cosmetic or boost for XP gain. The moment-to-moment gameplay feels fair. If you've got skill, you'll win fights. Deep tactical layers. Base captures involve lattice control, fight timing, resource management, and outfit coordination. You can drop pod, redeploy, spawn room flip. No two battles play exactly the same. Dedicated community. Despite smaller numbers, the players you meet are typically veterans who can teach you tricks if you're willing to join a public platoon. You'll find friendly mid-week newbies on Connery and steady zergs on Soltech weekends. Cons: steep learning curve. If you haven't played an MMOFPS before, expect to die a lot in the first 10 hours. The UI weapon cert mechanics and map flow all have nuances. Yes, the NPE improved, but you still need a mentor or YouTube tutorial to learn spawns, lattice, and resource management. Sparse updates compared to AAA titles. Apart from the teased Q3 facility overhaul, 2025 sees maybe one major patch per quarter. Compare that to Fortnite or Warframe's monthly content drops, it feels slow. Variable fight sizes. Off-peak hours can be quiet. If you want 48 plus versus 48 plus alerts, you'll need to play on weekends or evenings. Early on, I logged in Tuesday afternoon and found maybe 60 total players on a continent, hardly a massive battle. Aging graphics and engine quirks. The Forge Light engine from 2012 still powers Planetside 2. While Daybreak patched in some DirectX 12 optimizations, foliage pop-in, hit reg quirks, and ragdoll physics, it could still feel a bit janky, especially if you've been playing newer engines like Unreal 5. So, is Planetside 2 worth playing in 2025? Here's my bottom line. If you crave massive, open-world, large-scale warfare with combined arms, both infantry, air, and vehicles, and you don't mind investing time into learning its systems, Planetside 2 remains one of the only games on the planet that delivers that. It's not as flashy as brand new shooters, but it has that epic war movie feeling you can't replicate. If you prefer fast-paced, small-scale, arena-style matches like Apex Legends, Call of Duty, you might find Planetside 2's pace slow and its learning curve steep. Off-peak population dips can leave you in lonely, one-continent fights where fights never exceed 24v24. Community-wise, if you join a mid-sized outfit, you'll meet patient players who can teach you the ropes. Outside that, pubbing solo can be frustrating. Be prepared for a few weeks of peeling potatoes, aka dying, before you start topping squad leaderboards. At its core, Planetside 2 in 2025 is still a living, breathing battlefield. It's just smaller, more niche, and a bit weathered around the edges compared to 2013's Bloom. But if you value raw scale, emergent stories, and that sometimes we're saving the warp gate, sometimes we're not tension, this game still delivers. There you have it, our full breakdown on Planetside 2 in 2025. If you're still curious, I highly recommend hopping in. Pick an outfit like Disciplinary Action, Galanteus Cuboids, or Southern Diablo and experience a 96 plus squad fight at a base capture. Even if it's just for one alert, you'll see why this game hooked me and many others in 2013 and keeps us coming back now. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit subscribe, leave a like, and ring that bell so you don't miss future breakdowns on legacy MMOs, shooter tips, and community spotlights. Drop a comment below, what weapon should I test next, or which outfit should I join on Connery. Until next time, see you on Indar, Oroxis, and Hosen. Keep firing, stay patient, and welcome to Planetside 2. I'll see you in the next one.